Hello everyone, and welcome back to Reverse Engineering Linux 32-bit applications. In this video, we're going to continue to talk about how you can set up your sandbox in order to run suspected malware and do some dynamic analysis. Now, in a previous video, we set up our sandbox. We installed Ubuntu, in my case. And now what we're going to do is we're going to check the settings. In particular, we had disabled the networking. So I'm going to re-enable that so that we can install some additional software. I'll go ahead and start it. Other things that you can do, you can install the guest box additions. I'm not going to do that in this case because I don't really need it. Another thing is, we did talk about the fact that some malware will detect being run in a virtual machine. One of the easiest ways to know that you're running in a virtual machine is if you can see the software for the guest box additions installed. Another way is if you look at the MAC addresses of network adapters and they resolve to an OEM identifier for someone like Oracle, then you know you're running inside of a virtual machine. Okay, so here's our basic Ubuntu box. Pull up a terminal. And let me go ahead and see if I got an IP address. I did. And now I can do some installation. So I could go ahead and do a sudo apt install build essential. All right, I already have that installed, apparently. Sudo apt install adb. And now I'm getting this warning. I can't lock this directory. Usually that means that the automated checker is trying to check for updates. And if you wait just a little bit and run it again, you might be all right. Now, you might ask the question, how do I get my malware into my virtual machine? You could, of course, use networking. Another option would be to put it on a thumb drive and then pass that thumb drive through to your virtual machine. So a couple ways you could do it. In our case, I'm just going to go ahead and download it. All right, so if I look here at this location, I can go ahead and download my backdoor. I'm going to save it. and it's done. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and uncompress that. First, I'm going to move it to my root directory, or rather my home directory. I guess I should give it a source first. And now I can uncompress it with tar, X for extract, Z for zipped, F, here's my file, like so. All right, so now we have our code installed. So we can go ahead and start looking at this, and we can start doing some dynamic analysis. So let's start by loading it up in Evans Debugger. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and compile these programs, which they're done now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and install Evans Debugger, and we're going to install it from source code. So we're just going to make sure we have a couple of essential things first. Now I could just do these all in one whack, but I'm going to do them one at a time just to make sure that I'm getting this correct. I'm going to start with CMake. And then I'm going to install build essential. It's already installed. And now I'm going to install libboost deb. Boost dev. And now we're going to install a library. It's lib qt5 xml pattern with an S 5 -dev. All right. Now we're going to install Qt5 base dev. So we were having a little issue with that. We'll come back to that if it causes any issues. We're going to install Qt5 default. Another library, libqt5 svg5-dev. We're going to install libgraph viz -dev. Now we're going to install libcapstone-dev. And we're going to install package config. That's pkg config. And that's already installed. Okay. I'm going to go to my home directory now, and I will use git in order to grab my code. So I'll do a git clone, recursive, https://github.com ran edb-debugger git cd to edb debugger, make directory for build, cd build, cmake ... run make. And now it's building Evan's debugger. So it'll take a little bit of time in order to build this. So once this is completed, I should have a nice setup, and now I can get started with actually using this. So I'll go ahead and let this complete, and then we can kind of come back to this in another video, and we'll actually start running some stuff. Now remember, it's probably a good idea, if you're going to run your suspected malware, to go ahead and toggle off the networking in VirtualBox. So you'll have to reboot. Realistically, you're going to have to shut it down, and then you'll want to reboot it after you've changed the network settings. And that's pretty much it for this video. As always, if